Welcome back. It's been about a week since I posted a video, so we need to do an update on the progress on Bev's van. We're making more drawers. We're started the kitchen cabinet and we're adding a stack of 4 drawers underneath next to the sink. So that's all good. We've solved a few other problems that we were coming up with on how to mount the cabinet into the van, and let's get to it. Well, I've learned a lesson several times in the past, and I almost didn't remember it this time. I was getting ready to glue the top onto this cabinet like I told you in the last video, and right before I did it I said, oh no. When you get ready to stain and seal this thing, having the top on is miserable because you've got to reach up in every compartment. So last night I was able to do a lot of the polyurethane in all of these drawer slides and all the cabinets, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart. The inverter showed up from Amazon today, and this was a last-minute addition kind of to the project, and we're planning so much battery that we thought we could support a pretty big inverter. So I test fitted into this cabinet where we were going to do the plumbing chase and the wiring through here, and it was just a little bit short. But I was able to resolve the problem by just mounting the shelf to the bottom of the cleat that I'd already installed into the drawer. And it's going to work out really well. This cabinet, this area right in here, is one of the better ventilated parts of the build because it's open on this back side. There's several inches here between this and the door, and I'm also going to drill some vent holes in the back of this cabinet here so this heat sink will ventilate real well. This is also where the DC to DC charger is going to go. So all the electricals are going to be right here, the battery's right there. So all of our cable runs are nice and short. It keeps me from putting this in the kitchen cabinet and, you know, taking up space that we want for drawers and things like that. So this is a good spot for it. I just need to do a quick modification to the shelf, mount it on the underneath, and then finish with the ceiling, and then I can start putting the lid on the cabinet. So lesson learned, don't button this thing up too soon because there's a lot to do inside of it. If you doubt the strength of the Gorilla Glue, you can go ahead and stack your drawers up to dry, but I should have known better. I'll work on getting those apart after I go to the store and get a few drawer slides. So I've got to get those apart without damaging them. But I've got 4 drawers there built to go into the kitchen cabinet, and I'll show you. This was the old cabinet right here that had 0 drawers. In the new one, we're going to have 4 drawers all down the front here. So quite a bit more space than what she had before. So kind of a slow morning. I come out here and find all kind of mistakes, but let's get to Home Depot, one of my least favorite places to go on the weekend, and get some drawer slides. Oh, does that look like Beverly or what? Let's get a few of these. So I'm working on the drawers that are going to fit in front of the kitchen, and I've chosen to build a little sub-assembly, a box to hold all the drawers and the slides, all the hardware, and then I'll mount that in the kitchen cabinet. The reason I want to do that is I'm planning on running plumbing pipes up the side. I've got the sink over here. I've got other things happening in the cabinet that I want to keep out of the drawers and the hardware. That way they can just slide in and out and they're not jamming on anything. The drawers have been pre-constructed. I did that 2 days ago, and I've already got polyurethane sealer on most of them. So what we're going to do is take this kit of parts tonight, and it's all loose at this moment. It's real loose. In fact, it's not glued at all. We're going to take all these parts and pieces, and first thing I'll start with is I use a cleat. I'll get all my lines marked of where I want the drawer slides, and I'll go place that cleat in place right there. And let me grab a drawer slide. Because this is a fairly small cabinet, I'm going to nail and glue these on this side before I glue the whole thing together. Then I've got the divider panel top and bottom, but then it makes it real easy to do the slides, because all you do is you just sit them down on the cleat and you flush them up to the front edge and you just screw them in. You don't have to worry about, once the cabinet's together, trying to get everything leveled up and everything, because this cabinet's going to be kind of tight. It's going to be difficult to try to do that, to get all those measurements and get your cabinets level, because if you've got one cleat at a little bit of an angle and you got the one opposite the other way, the drawer will really bind. So by doing all this ahead of time, it'll work. The other thing you want to do whenever you're making an assembly that's somewhat small, make sure that like these drawer slides are going to be mounted in here like this. Well, I've already made sure that I can get the screw gun or screwdriver in here and be able to assemble it. If this was a smaller drawer than this, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, you know, now you're in there with a hand screw, and that's all easy to do. What you would do is right here on this table, before you glue up this box, go ahead and you can pull the drawer slide out. These are self-closing, so they're a little tight. You can pull the drawer slide out. You could go ahead and, after you nail and glue this, go ahead and start all your screws here and get them tapped out. That way, when you assemble it, see, look at that. Isn't that neat? Ooh, she's going to love that. That way, when you go to put them in there with a little hand screwdriver, you're not trying to start the screw and everything else. It ought to be ready to go. So we'll get all this done, glue this up, and be looking good. These the drawers came out really nice. They're all nice and square. I was real happy with them. Got a good put a 1/4-inch bottom on them, but these are all sealed, and all I got to do is scuff them up and put another coat or two on these, and then we'll do the false fronts on these like we did with the big drawers. So that's what we're going to work on right now. After several hours of doing this, I've come up with a good idea. I don't know where you live, but we need to have a party. It's going to be a sanding party. Y'all come on over, start sanding, because I want a party. Well, I want to wrap this video up with a little bit of recap of this week. This week has primarily been hours and hours of sanding, polyurethane, things that don't really show up so well on the camera, but there were several issues that we were able to resolve this week. One was the inverter that showed up. We were able to resolve how we were going to package this into this area here next to the DC to DC charger. I think I've already, in the last video, shown you drawers and everything, but these are all finished now. We've got like 4 coats of polyurethane on everything. We've resolved several issues in the van. One of those was how we're going to mount the kitchen cabinet in the van. And I was able to utilize 4 angle brackets that were there from the previous conversion. I built a base for the cabinet, and I was able to shim that and get that nice and level, so I'm happy with that. And then the cabinet that we build will sit on top of that base, and that'll also make it easy to remove. The last item was, how are we physically going to mount this box into the van? I may have previously said that I wanted to take advantage of the seat mounting bracket holes, and that's been causing me a great deal of difficulty over the past 10 days. Couldn't find a bolt that fit it. You know, there hadn't been bolts in that floor in quite a while. They were just open holes, so they were corroded, rusted. We finally just broke down this evening and ran a tap through there, cleaned them all out, found some bolts that fit. So we'll be putting this cabinet in the next day and drilling our mounting holes. That way we'll know where it's going to be fixed permanent. So that's a weight off my shoulder to get that done. Last thing, I'm real happy with the water-based polyurethane. A lot of my previous projects I'd done the oil base. And if you've ever used it, it kind of turns your wood a little bit of a golden color. I like it. I think it's pretty. This, you can't even tell that I've sealed this until you touch it, because it is so clear that you just see the wood right away. And I'm getting used to that because I like the wood, but the advantage is that there is no odor, and that's the reason I did it. I mean, if you're going to move into a van and live with it, you're not going to be able to stand that smell of that strong polyurethane, you know, day to day. So this is almost odorless. I can get several coats done in a day, and it's been a pleasure to work with. So hopefully by the time I give you another update next week, we'll have all the cabinets in the vehicle. We'll be getting ready to start the wiring and the plumbing. So I look forward to that. It's going well, and I'm happy with the progress. So see you next time.